Hi guys, welcome back to my Flosstube channel. My name is Sarah, otherwise known as Little Snips. It is December 27th, 2017, so very end of the year. This will be my last video for 2017. The year has gone by really quickly, so what can I tell you? That's kind of the way time works, I guess. I was supposed to make a video last week. Last week was incredibly crazy due to holidays and all sorts of things, so I am a week late. I apologize for that if you've been waiting for another video. I am not going to do my year of review. I think that tag has started going around again. And this year, unlike last year when I had just started in November, this year I can actually participate. So I will, but I will do that on my next video, so my first video in January. I will also be doing I will also start giving away, I know I said a couple times, maybe a couple episodes ago, that I was going to start doing magazine giveaways like Michelle does, Bendy Stitchy Michelle. She mentioned in one of her later, or more recent, not her latest because I'm not up to date, but in one of her recent videos she mentioned that several people have contacted her and asked if it's okay if we give away magazine patterns too. I'm one of them, I admit it, and yeah, so I will start doing that in January 2018. As you can see, it's another hat day, it's a bad hair day. I tried to fix it and it didn't work, and I don't have time to spend trying to make my hair look nice enough for me to be comfortable to make a video, so I just figured the hat would go back on. Yeah, so forgive the hat, I hope. I hope you will forgive the hat, rather. I just did a show, segue, tangent, whatever. I just did a show and I played Yoda in the last part of the show, and so occasionally I catch myself reverting back to reversed grammatical structure. I also grew up partly in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, which is where there is a big concentration of Pennsylvania Dutch, the Amish. As a result, I sometimes switch my grammar anyway. I'm not Pennsylvania Dutch, but the language sort of seeps into the culture, or seeped into the culture there when I was a kid. So sometimes I reverse my words and my grammatical structure. I said that correctly once without having to fix it. So if I say something weird, like I reverse my verb and noun or whatever, it's just because that's where my holiday head is, and not because I have had any sort of brain injury or that I've suddenly forgotten how to speak English, although that does happen too. Yeah, so I have things that I have to do that I didn't know I had to do when I set up to record this video today. I have people coming over earlier than I expected, which happens during the holiday season, but when it's not the holiday season, I work out of the house. I can be kind of hermity, and so I'm always a little thrown off by random company. Like, if you know me in real life, or you meet me in real life, or you happen to live in the area in real life, yeah, don't come by my house by surprise. I won't be mean to you, at least I'll try not to be mean to you, but I am not good with random guests. I'm not good with surprise visitors. I am one of those people, and I think a lot of women are. I am, well, not necessarily that women are, but this is a standard thing, in that when people come to visit, you want your house to look like it's not a complete and total wreck. My house currently is a complete and total wreck. We moved some stuff in from storage before the holidays started, and then the holidays started, and so there have been boxes coming in, and there are things piled up everywhere. My tables are all cluttered. Yeah, so my house is a wreck. So when people come to visit, I like it to look like it's not as much of a wreck as it is, and yeah, so I'm gonna have company today, and there's not a lot I can do about the fact that the house is a disaster, other than not make a video right now and clean instead, and that didn't seem like fun to me, so my visitors, who are friends and who will forgive me, will just have to deal with a little bit of extra clutter this time of year. I was going to say something else, and I can't remember what, so I should probably just go ahead and get to the stitchy part. Yeah. So it's been a few weeks. And I have actually been quite a stitching fool lately. Partially because of a challenge that I'll tell you about later, but also just because I've been determined to stitch. One thing, I'm going to show you this right now. This is part of my haul, actually, so really it should probably wait until I show you the rest of my haul. But I ordered for myself as a Christmas present because I was thinking about, I'm still considering doing punch needle or trying out punch needle. And then pause for a second. I know I'm speaking really quickly. Again, I have things that I have to do that I did not intend to have to do, so if I am speaking even more quickly than I feel like I'm speaking, and I just made a concerted effort to slow down, please forgive me. My brain is going in 12 different directions while I'm trying to talk to you, and that does not make talking to you easy. So, anyway, I was talking about trying out punch needle. Because I was going to try out punch needle, I learned that you really need to have a good, solid gripping stand in order to do that. The fabric for punch needle needs to be held what is repeatedly quoted as drum tight. Drum tight. I'm trying to make air quotes while I have something balanced on my lap. So you need a good hoop or stand or whatever that will hold the fabric really taut so that you can do punch needle. So I looked into popular lap stands, and without wanting to spend a fortune on a lap stand for something that I might not actually do, I found the Morgan lap stand. Now this is what it looks like. This is the Morgan lap stand. And it is a plastic stand. This is a 7-inch hoop on the top or bottom, depending on how you set it up. 7-inch hoop, 10-inch hoop. They do have they have a smaller size, which has a 5-inch hoop, and then a 7-inch hoop, and they have a bigger size, which has a 10-inch hoop, and then a 14-inch hoop. Regardless of the hoop size, apparently these have been around for a while. They're very solid plastic. They have a, if I can get this to pop off in a timely fashion, which I probably can't because I have it screwed down so it won't just fall off. There we go. I don't know if you're going to be able to see. My laptop is in a different location, so I apologize for me looking off to the side. But if you can see that little ridge, I'm still balancing stuff on my knee, and it still wants to fall over. This little ridge on the how can I show you? Where my finger is, but you can't see that because of the angle. Anyway, there's a ridge on the inside of the hoop that keeps it pretty solidly in place. And I bought it to try out punch needle. I do not have the fabric for punch needle, so I haven't actually tried it yet. But I do have the hoop, and I do have the tools. But, you guys, if you need a lap stand, and you can't buy one or you haven't bought another one, you don't want to build one out of PVC, you don't have one you can sit on or whatever, if you want a lap stand that is relatively inexpensive and very helpful, I think, invest in one of these. I got mine from Amazon. I think it was $25 or $30 by the time all the sales and everything came around. Yeah, I've been using this thing ever since I got it, and I have been using a hoop before, so this, especially if you're a hoop user. I was using a hoop before, but I was holding it in hand. I was figuring out how to two-handed stitch by propping the hoop sort of against my arm. You know, brace the hoop against your arm and stitch and switch hands, which works. But this is so much better, and I love this thing. And I may buy different sizes. I may buy another one just to have an extra set, so I don't have to swap out my projects all the time. But yeah, woohoo! Look, it's like a weird telescoping overlay on my face. But Morgan lap stand, check it out if you are interested in lap stands, and particularly if you work in a hoop. So that has helped me stitch a lot. So let me show you some of what I have stitched on. And I need to stand up for 1 second, so hang on. Sorry about that. I know that's awkward and weird, but it is what it is. So, stitching. What have I been stitching? I have a couple of new starts that I want to show you. And I'm going to make crinkly noises, so I apologize for that. again, I have my setup a little bit different. It's always a little bit different, so I shouldn't really apologize because things are always going to be a little changed when you see me. But I made a couple of new starts. One of them is a start that I have been wanting to make for a while now and just haven't done it. It's something that I talked around with Kelly of Kelly Bell Stitches. It is a Joan Elliott project, and as you know, as I have shown you, I'm a big Joan Elliott fan. I told you, I think maybe last episode, that I didn't have any Joan Elliott started, which was a lie then and continues to be a lie. I had 2 projects started then. I had the Faces of Joan Elliott mystery sal that I'm doing from the Facebook group, which I have not touched in a while, but I am working on it. And I'm doing the Celestial Dragon for my husband, which I have shown you and also haven't touched for a while, but I had 2 projects already started, and now I have started a third. I have finally started, and I said I was going to do this, and now I have. I have finally started the Native American Maiden, and like I said, some people call her the Hummingbird Maiden because of the bird in her hand, but I have finally started her. I started her in November, I think. No? Well, I don't know. I think I started her but I know for a fact I started her this month, I'm sorry, because I know for a fact that I started her after I did the last episode. So, this is a piece of fabric that I dyed myself. It was originally Irish linen from Michael's. I sort of dyed it so that it's more antiqued, and really that's the exciting start of the Indian Maiden, which is basically, it's like from the waist down on one of these motifs, and then some of the gray that comes out here in the skirt or in the coat. It's not exciting. It's not a lot. You can't even really tell what it is. If I hadn't just pointed that out to you, you would never have known. Yeah, but that was my start, and that will be a piece that I work on throughout 2018. I'm hoping to actually finish her in 2018. She is going to be in my year of whips, but it's not a lot now. So that's one of my new starts. Where am I going to put this stuff? I'm going to put it, I don't know. I'm going to put it somewhere. I'm going to put it right there. Another one of my new starts. I am a member of the Full Coverage Fanatics groups, which was started by Ann P. of Woolly Wonka Fibers, and there are a lot of challenges and things to help people work on their full coverage pieces, which I didn't know that I loved as much as I do, but I really do like full coverage. So I have and will be starting several more of those full coverage pieces. The first stitch along, the first sal in that group, started on December 21st, and it is a quarterly winter sal, which means anything that inspires you to think of winter is what we're stitching on for that particular sal. It goes through from December 21st through the end of March, I think, or maybe March 20th, but March. It ends in March, and then it will switch to spring, of course. But it started on the 21st, and so I started a piece on the 21st, and I started the Story Keep White Nine-Tails Fox by Stephanie Law. It's crooked. That is what the Story Keep will look like. I'm not sure what this is where the bigger piece of this is, but I like the Story Keep because I like that little fox. And I literally stitched on this for one day. And this is the extent of what I've got. Yay! It is a corner of black and navy blue, which a lot of Heaven and Earth designs start with. So it's not that exciting. This is on 25 count Lugana. It is not going to be a big piece. I mean, it's a Story Keep, so it's not going to be that big. But this is undyed Lugana, and they said that's the start of the Story Keep. It's 250 stitches in the corner. I have switched to using Anchor Black, and I can't hold anything straight. That is Anchor Black rather than DMC 310, so Anchor 403. For those of you who like numbers better than names, excuse me. But yeah, that was another new start. And again, enabled by where did I put it? There it is. All over the place today. all over the place. Enabled by the lap stand because it makes it very easy to just pop things in and out and stitch very quickly. Normally when I stitch on projects, I don't think, to be fair, I did not spend a lot of time counting stitches before I found Flosstube and Heaven and Earth and that kind of thing. But ordinarily, I don't think I put 250 stitches in on something in a relatively short period of time, and that was probably a couple hours worth of stitching. So, the lap stand definitely helps. What else have I been working on? Oh! I should have probably showed this to you first. The Tea and Cake Sal, which was a free stitch-along by Doreen Jones in the Lakeside Needlecraft group earlier this year. You have seen pieces of this before. I showed you the last time I worked on this was to finish the first, or that I had finished the first section. I don't think I showed it to you since then. I have gotten into this habit now of wanting to finish relatively large chunks of work. So, I don't think I showed this to you in progress, so I'm just going to show it to you as it is. But I have finished the second part of the stitch-along, and I just tried to show you the back. That is the second part of the stitch-along, and it's not gonna focus. Focus? Well, okay, it looks a little blurry to me, it may not to you. But anyway, this is the part that I finished, the cupcake stack. The next stack, I think, over here, is words, I think. I don't remember for sure. But that will be what I work on the next time I work on it. This is just a square of 18 count undyed Aida. I am using I'm using all DMC except for the border. I did not use the recommended DMC color in the border. This is Dutch Tulips by Color and Cotton. I've said that before. I have showed that to you before. There's progress. Did I work on anything else? I need to check the time real quick. Okay. And I did work on something else, and that is the Heaven and Earth Design 100 Days of Hade challenge that Portia Parcher, I'm not sure which now, started in her group and is continuing in her group. Now again, I have been working on the lap stand, which helps me a lot. I have also been trying, for the exception of the day that I worked on, the Story Keep, the White Nine-Tailed Fox, and one day during the holidays where I just didn't get a chance to stitch because I had the show that I told you about to do and other holiday things, I've been pretty good about stitching every day of the 100-day challenge. We are on day 20 today, and yeah, I've been keeping up pretty well. So, what I am working on, as you might have guessed, or as I may have said, is I am working on the Shakespearean fan. Wow, that's blurry. Come on. Yes? No? Anyway, it looks like that, but with more detail because this camera is not focusing. But it is the Shakespearean Fantasy by James C. Christensen. I have showed you my progress on it before, and it was not great progress, but I will insert a picture of where it was the last time you saw it on Flosstube, right here. And with the help, again, of the 100-Day Hade Challenge, I will show you where I am now, which is here. Quite the difference, right? So, I had one page finished when I started the challenge. I had the first page finished, which was basically, this over here, which is a big block of black and that one little green blob down at the bottom. I had part of the second page done, as you will have seen in the picture I just showed you, but not nearly anywhere near finishing the second page. So I have finished the second page, which is that bigger block of green at the bottom. Again, more black at the top, but the bigger block of green. And what I am working on right now, over here with the diagonals, is the third page. So yeah, with 19 days of dedicated stitching, and not necessarily a lot of stitching. There are a couple days where I got less than 100 stitches in, but there are also a few days where I've gotten almost 500 stitches in. So with some dedicated stitching, yep, I'm here on this thing. Now, I don't remember how many pages there are in this, so I'm not not halfway. I'm not anywhere near finished. I'm just finishing the top row of pages. But I've still made a significant amount of progress. I am loving the challenge. I love the accountability, I guess, of reporting every day how much I've done and showing the progress. So I'm kind of planning on integrating that into how I stitch in the future. So a couple of us have already talked about doing another 100-day challenge after this one ends in March. I probably will do that. I will probably rotate to a different piece. I probably won't work on Shakespeare. It depends on how far I get and how I'm feeling. So I may continue to work on this until it's finished. But it's nice to have the accountability again. I do stitch on other things. I mean, I've shown you, I did other things. I usually stitch on 2 or 3 things in a day. But I always try to make time to stitch on my Haid. And I mean, you know, again, I'll show you again because I'm pretty proud of that. It's paying off to do that. So, yeah, that's going to go up there. And I actually do have, and did I leave it in the other room now? Yep, I did. So I'm going to pause you 1 second. Okay, I'm back. Anyway, the 100 Days of Haid, I would recommend if you are stitching Haids and you are interested in trying to make some progress and you're willing to put in some time every day if you can, that you come and join us in the group. It recently changed to only Haid. There were some people who were involved who were stitching other things, and Portia has decided that since it's basically a supported stitch-along or supported project by Heaven and Earth Designs, that it should only be Heaven and Earth Designs. So if you're stitching something else full coverage, there are a couple other groups that you can do that in, one of them being Full Coverage Fanatics, which, like I said, started its first quarterly stitch-along on December 21st and plans to do many of them throughout 2018. So I will link both of those in the groups down below, or in the notes down below. But yeah, I encourage you to, if you're having trouble getting big projects done, set yourself a goal of 100 stitches a day, or half an hour of stitching, or however much, but just a little bit of stitching will get a lot done. I'm surprised by how motivated I am and by how much stitching I've gotten done. So there's my PSA. I was going to say that that was the last thing I had to show you stitching wise, but I did actually work on my bands of variation. And I'm not telling you fabric on these projects, I just realized, and if you really want to know, I can tell you. Leave a comment and I will get back to you and tell you what it's on, but most of them are undyed 25 count or 18 count Aida. That tends to be what I work on now. I did work on my Bands of Variation Sal by Doreen Jones, hosted by Lakeside Needlecraft again. The last time I showed this to you, I showed you, I think, well, I'm not sure. So I'll go find a picture of where it was last time and I'll insert it here. And this is where I am now. Now, you can actually see that there is, I think, anyway, that you can see that there is yellow in that third band. I'm not finished with this yet, and the next clue will come out on January 1st. I've been pretty good about finishing. I mean, I finished the November band, I finished the December band, the top 2, before the next clue came out. And with the December band, I actually finished it with some time to spare. November, I finished right on the deadline, but the October and November band. The December band, this one, the orange and yellow down here, I'm having trouble with because as I did this on white fabric, obviously, you can't really see the yellow. I mean, I have a hard time seeing it when I'm stitching it. You can see it here, kind of, but I'm having a hard time seeing it when I'm stitching it, and I need to fill in all the rest of this pattern with the yellow bits that sort of set off the orange. I'm not having as much fun stitching the yellow because I can't see it. I'm not having as much fun stitching it because it's, yeah, I was going to repeat myself, but because I can't see it, it makes it tough to feel motivated to work on it because I'm not seeing the progress. Now I can, like I said, you can see it kind of, I can see it when it's up close, so you can see progress, but when you hold the whole thing up, I mean, you have that really dark red. The red and orange shows up really nicely, and actually on camera, the yellow shows up much better than it does in person. In person, that yellow is really pale, so it does not show up that much, so it sort of looks like the bottom of the pattern just fades out. I don't know whether the next month is going to be mostly yellow, as obviously the top pattern was all red, the second one was mostly red and then orange, and then this one, excuse me, the December pattern is mostly orange and then yellow. So I am guessing that the January pattern is going to be mostly yellow and possibly some green. We'll see. I'm nervous about it because, like I said, this pattern has not been exactly a lot of fun to stitch, and I would like to have fun stitching it. There you go. Anyway, that is everything that I've stitched on so far this month, which is quite a bit, given the fact that I've done all that work on my Heaven and Earth. The other thing I have done is I have been making dragons. I showed you the dragon that I made, the first one, the yellow one with the flecked wings. I have made a couple of dragons since then for custom orders, and I will insert pictures of them. So I made the Mushu-inspired dragon for a customer who, her daughter apparently really likes Mushu, so I figured out how to do the horns. We have him sitting up, he has whiskers, and yeah, I think he's kind of cute. And then the blue dragon is the first dragon that I've made that is a reclining dragon, so he's laid down as you saw with his paws crossed. Those have both been completed and sent to their respective owners, and hopefully they enjoy them. I do have a couple more in progress, so I'm working on those while I'm stitching, so yeah. Time check for me again. I should just be able to look at the timer on the laptop, but like I said, it's in a different place, so it's awkward for me to look over there. Yeah. As I told you, I feel like I have a lot of patterns. I feel like I probably have too many patterns, and I'm trying to curb that in 2018. So I'm going to be doing Stitch Your Old Stash, which I think is just going to be a hashtag, but I will clarify that in January. I will definitely be using it as a hashtag, so I will put that down in the notes. If you want to start using it now, you can, but on January 1st, that's when I will start using it, or rather in January. I don't know if January 1st I'm going to start stitching something old. I have other things planned to stitch as new starts. But it will be a hashtag in 2018. You are more than welcome. As a matter of fact, please help me and use that tag, Stitch Your Old Stash, if you are going back and stitching old patterns, magazine patterns, anything like that. If it needs to be a Facebook group, it will be. I'm not sold on the concept of us needing a group, but if you feel that we should have a group so we can talk about solely old stash, then let me know and I can start a group. I don't want to do it just because I'm going to do it, because I have a lot of groups I'm subscribed to already, and yeah. But if you're interested, let me know. But I did get a lot of haul since the last time I talked to you, and this is more impetus for me to stop spending money and stop buying things. I will, of course, still buy things, but I would like to buy less. So, but I'm going to show you them. One of the things that I didn't actually buy, this is part of my subscription, and I don't normally show these to you because I know other people do, and you don't need to see them repeatedly over and over and over and over, but I did get my Color and Cotton Thread subscription, and these colors, for anybody who wants to know what my colors are, because I know we talk about, people having things like Bendy Stitchy is bees, and 3L Threads is owls, and when I think of Kelly Bell, I think of dachshunds, and when I think of Gleeza, I think of Glee, I think of elephants, and on and on. Everybody has their thing. Stitcherista, we think of foxes, right? Well, I don't know that I have come up with an animal that you guys would associate with me, except maybe the magpie. Or, I don't know, dragons, angels, wolves, I don't know. I don't know if I have a specific animal, but I do have colors, and this month's shipment of Color and Cotton Threads are pretty much my colors. I mean, these are earthy, and they're washing out, of course. So they're not going to show up true to color. Somebody else will show them off better than I have, but these are my colors. Like, this month's shipment are totally my colors, and I love them. The other thing I finally got is a needle tin by Clay by Kim. She makes amazing needle minders and fairy doors and things like that. I do have a fairy door of hers. I have a needle minder of hers, which you saw in one of my pieces. But she started making the Christmas needle tins again this holiday, and I drooled all over them and got lucky enough to actually buy one. So look at that. Look at how cool that thing is. Can I slide it open? It slides open. right? And there's a, woo, can you see that? There's a little magnet in there. I'm going to put a magnet on the back so I can put it on my needlework. But look at how cool that is. So I got a tin from Clay by Kim, which makes me very happy. I showed you earlier in the year that I bought sleds to do ornaments. I didn't do any ornaments this year because. But I did finally get patterns for them. These are from Foxwood Crossings. This is the Snowy Visitors, and I'm going to try to cover that up. Snowy Visitors pamphlet. And this one, the price is on the back. So, and these are the pear sleds and glare. So I got those. Didn't use them, but I will for next year. Hopefully. I'm planning to use them for next year anyway. I got another Mill Hill Santa. I got a Renaissance Santa. So this is the Genoa Santa. And there's more glare for you. But he has a map and pumpkin pants. And I love him. I told you last video that I was going to get the next snowman pattern from Stony Creek in their freebie monthly series. And I did. I got the Autumn Santa, or snowman, not Santa, the Autumn Snowman, which again makes more sense to me than a summer snowman, but there you go. Heaven and Earth had another flash sale during Christmas week. Partially, I think, because of the 100 Days of Hade challenge, but partially because Michelle likes to have sales, which we love. We appreciate so much. So in that sale, I bought another couple of patterns. I bought Gypsies Again, Mini Gypsies Again by Tracy Butler, because I love Tracy Butler's work, and I love that picture. Again, with the who knows when that'll get stitched, but it will someday. And I bought Mini Rooftop Vigil by Selena Fenich, however you say her name. I apologize for butchering that. I bought this because I love gargoyles and because there is a fairy huddling between his feet, and yeah. I will probably use that for the Elemental Air stitch along. I don't know, maybe in full coverage fanatics. We'll see. I bought things I shouldn't have bought, but I bought them anyway. I had said that I really wanted to buy Royal Games by Mirabilia when I saw the first one. The second one is now out. The other set of Queens is out. Royal Games 2 was released in December. But this is Royal Games 1. You have seen it before. You have even seen it stitched by a few people, but I now have Royal Games 1. I will get Royal Games 2 eventually. The other thing I got, and I mentioned, I think in my last episode, that I had all of the seasonal queens by Mirabilia except the Spring Queen, that I had never found the Spring Queen. And then someone mentioned that it was out of print, and I was despairing of ever finding it. I think I commented on Belinda's Aussie Stitchers video probably. I was despairing of ever finding it for a reasonable price. And I had the wild idea to go and look on Etsy. And guess what? I found it. So there is the Spring Queen, and I got her for a very reasonable price. Very reasonable price. Did not have to pay an arm and a leg for her. And now I have all 4 of them. So I can stitch all of the seasonal queens. Now, in the process of looking for things and watching people's videos, I learned, or was reminded, that there was a Queen of Peace that is also out of print, and I have looked for her as well, and yeah, she's expensive. Not brain-meltingly expensive. She's not Lady of the Flag, but she is expensive, so I may save up for her and try to get her at some point. I can find her. It's not that she's completely out of my reach, but she's a little bit more than I feel like paying for a pattern right now, especially when I have so many other things. So if I get the seasonal queen stitched up, I may go ahead and get her at some point. I also want Royal Holiday. We have all seen Stitching Mommy's Royal Holiday framed up and beautiful and stunning. Other people have stitched her. I think Crafty Creative Claire stitched her. I need her. I need the Royal Holiday. I need the Holiday Queen as well. Queen of Freedom I am not as inspired by. She's beautiful, but I don't feel the same need to have her. So, and then my stitching group and I had a get together a couple of weeks ago. I guess it is technically a couple of weeks ago now, before Christmas, to hang out and stitch and have a little potluck, and there was some pattern sharing that happened. I brought some fabric for people to take, which I actually will insert a picture of here. Those are all hand-dyed 28 count Monaco. And the way that my friends reacted, they liked them quite a bit. So I may do that in the future. I may dye some more fabric and take it up to them. I will try to, ladies, I will try to have it cut and serged and everything nicely taken care of for you before I do that this time, rather than running out of time to do it last time. But we also traded patterns and things. People brought their extra. So it's sort of a mini Christmas gift exchange in that, yeah, everybody got something that they wanted. So I picked up a few things from patterns, mostly because they amused me or I thought they were cool. I picked up Party Time Babes because I have on my plans for 2018 at some point I want to get a copy of Jill Oxton's magazine that has the voluptuous mermaid in it, because I think she's hilarious. I think she's beautiful. I think she's amazing. I need to stitch her a dozen times. So I picked up Party Babes because they kind of remind me, and of course it's going to be blurry, they kind of remind me of that style, the sort of chubbier, fun women that you don't normally see in cross-stitch patterns. I picked up Discovery of the New World because, well, because, look at that. And it's crooked. I'm sorry I hold things crooked. But look at that pattern. Because I like it. I picked it up because I liked it, and yeah. And I picked up, and this is actually, I just realized, by the same person who did the Discovery of the New World pattern, but I picked up cat personalities in cross-stitch. Here are those for little goofy cat things. Cat heads on a bookmark. Cat on a pocket on your shirts. I love those Siamese cats, the hearts. I think that's supposed to be, what did it say? A perfect pair, it says. So you could do it as a wedding sample or something, but yeah. Just silly little cat cross-stitch things. And then I picked up a started kit. This was put down by somebody in the group who decided she wasn't going to stitch it, I think, and that's the pattern. You don't want to see that. Well, you might want to see that, but you're not going to see that. But I picked this up, and this is a Jamlin kit that is Resting Tiger. So that's what it's supposed to look like when it's finished, and more or less straight, crooked, whatever. But look, isn't he regal? Isn't he beautiful? So I picked that up because I really like the picture. And then this, oh my gosh. So this is where it is. This is how much was done. Obviously, like a quarter of it is finished, but look at how beautiful that is on the fabric. So at some point I will do this in 2018. I'm going to add this to my year of whips as well, despite the fact that it was not originally in my plans, but this has to be finished because it's just that cool. So yeah, that is all of my haul. I'm going to crinkle. You'll just have to deal. I am going to work on all of that. That is my haul. That is what I have stitched on so far this year, or rather this 2-week period. Like I said, I have things to do today, so I can't really linger around much longer. Couple of things real quick. The West Coast stitching retreat that we keep talking about, or I keep talking about, we are still working on that. We're looking into ways to make it happen. So I promise you, when there is something concrete, I will tell you. Please talk to people you know who are on the West Coast who might be interested, because we want everybody to have an opportunity to come and participate if they can. But yeah, obviously it's going to be 2018 before you hear about that again, but maybe by the next episode I can have more concrete details. We'll just have to see. But keep watching, keep your fingers crossed, because I really want to make that happen in 2018. My giveaway. So I have not yet sent anything out, so if you won one of my giveaways and you haven't received anything yet, please don't feel like you've missed it. You haven't. I have been really busy and haven't sent them, but I will get them sent in the next week. Ingeborg, that counts for your item as well. I still haven't sent it because because I just haven't. But it is going in the mail. It will be coming to you. Becky G. If anybody knows where Becky G is, she won one of my giveaway items and I have not heard from her. So if you know her and can poke her and have her come back and look at my the giveaway winners video, I think that was last episode, or just message me on YouTube so I can get her address and get her item in the mail. That would be awesome, and you would help me out a lot. If she doesn't contact me by my next episode, I will draw again for it. So, yeah. Something to keep in mind. And I don't think I have anything else to say. Do I have any? Oh, stitch along videos. So I made a stitch along, but it wasn't really a stitch along. I made a diamond paint along with me video, and it was awkward and weird in that it was awkward. Not that I said anything weird or anything weird happened, but believe it or not, I used to make videos that were just my hands, and now making a video that's just my hands feels kind of strange. But I did make a video. I don't know whether I'm going to post it because I rambled a lot, and you didn't get to see a lot because of the weird angle. I am loving the stitch along videos, and I do kind of want to make one. Now that I have the lap stand, I might be able to actually do it, so keep your eyes open for that too. Or if you would rather that I don't make a stitch along video, I would probably work on my Haid, but if you rather that I don't, tell me you're not interested. That's fine. That's okay. If you're like, we don't need to see another stitch along video from you. You're just not, you don't stitch things that we like, or whatever. You don't have to give me reasons. Anyway, I'm assuming that nobody's going to say that, but if you feel like it, feel free. It won't hurt my feelings, I promise. But yeah, despite the fact that I talked really fast, and despite the fact that I am in a hurry to get done with this, I still talked for about 45 minutes, so at least it's not an hour this time, right? Okay, I will talk to you again in January. I hope you all have a fantastic New Year. I hope your Christmas or whatever holiday you celebrate was fun, was amazing. I hope you got some great stitchy gifts. I got a duplicate pattern from my husband. The Jim Shore 12 Days of Christmas pattern that I told you that he had seen at Joann's and really liked. He actually bought that for me after I bought a copy for myself. So maybe in January or sometime in the new year, I will give that away because I don't need it twice. But anyway, like I said, I gotta go. I will talk to you again in a couple of weeks. Have a fantastic new year. Be well. Be safe. Yeah. Have a good stitchy time. Bye.